The court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon.
Multiple felony cases, deadly weapon findings, and a cap of 12 years in prison. With probation unlikely, everything now hinges on whether the judge sees any path to rehabilitation.
2025 CR 011309A, 2025 CR 011020, and 2025 CR 011311C, State versus Adrian Isaac Hernandez. Can I have parties approach and announce for the record?
Melissa Christian for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Hernandez? All right, you entered a plea into each one of these cause numbers. In the cause number 2025 CR 011020, according to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. There's no application for community supervision. The state is opposed to your deferred adjudication, and this is to run concurrent. All right, off the record, we appear that we're missing some cause numbers for me. So this is running concurrent with 2024 CR 007176. Was that a motion to revoke or something?
7176.
All right, and has that already been taken care of or no?
He entered a plea of true.
And then we have 2025 CR 011020. That's this case.
That's right.
And then 2025 CR 011309A. And okay. All right, I see where we are now.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so we're back on the record. And then in cause number 2025 CR 011311C, according to your plea bargain agreement in that cause, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your application for deferred adjudication. All cases are running concurrently. And then the state is taking in consideration 2025 CR 011310C and 2025 CC 009777. And in the cause number 2025 CR 011309A, according to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your application for deferred adjudication. All cases will run concurrently, and the previously mentioned cases will be taken in consideration. And in both cause number 2025 CR 011309A and 2025 CR 011311C, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. And each of the cause numbers, have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report from either party?
The only thing we'd like to point out, Judge, is there was some question about whether he had prior gang activity, and he does not. I think they checked that he did, but they did say it was questionable. And he is telling me he has never been in a gang.
And state, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, the court has reviewed the letter from the defendant, which is the court's understanding that the state had no objections. So I've reviewed that letter. Defense, any witnesses?
We do, Judge.
All right, you may call your first witness.
We would call Mr. Hernandez's mother. You're up against the counter.
Hello. Hi. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Ronnie McGaha.
All right, I'm sorry.
Giovanna Rebecca McGaha,
Could you spell your last name for the court reporter?
McGaha.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Mrs. McGaha, how are you related to Adrian Isaac Hernandez?
I'm his mom,
Okay, and how old is he?
19.
Okay, and could you tell the court where you live
I live in Smiley, Texas,
and what county is that in
Gonzales,
of that town?
in between, I think like 500. I mean, it's a small town, nothing's there.
Okay,
Like 2 schools and a Dollar General.
okay, and if the court were to grant probation to your son, is that where he would be living?
Yes,
Okay, and there's a school there for him to attend?
yes.
Okay, and could you tell the court why you believe that Adrian should be on probation?
This ain't an eye opener. I'll be the first to. I've been praying hard, and with my faith and his faith, I mean, we've been just striving a long road. But I know God is good, and I got my family all in church with prayer and faith, and I got my mom home with me too. So, and I feel also changed. So I'm learning new things too. But they're all going. We have actually a lot of our families together still, and peace. I'm missing peace.
So, Mrs. McGaha, the court's going to want to know how it is that Adrian kind of fell off the path and how you're going to get him back on the path.
Well, I have a day and night with me and my husband, and I always take him. That's why I work at night, so I can take appointments for all my kids. So I can deal with that part in the morning if needed. Finances, I know how we're able to finance if we need help with that. If there's people that can help us if needed. Finance wise. Or I do try to do overtime so that I can achieve those funds to be able to put that there as well. And then the church has been very helpful and helping us with our children, as well as the school that my children are in, with support and helping us with organizations outside of school to get them in right structure with speech, or any things that they're needing for their health issues or mental states as well.
And was your son in special classes?
Yeah,
Okay, is that a 504 designation? Do you
that
know?
was one of them. And he did have also behavior from his ADHD and stuff like that.
Okay, and how high did he get in school?
Well, he repeated 9th grade for a good minute. But they ended up passing him through to 10th grade, but that was the last of it. But they only found record here when he was trying to go for GED only for the 7th grade. So we would have to find a way again, which is very possible, to be able to do so.
And you're willing to do whatever it takes to get him back on track educationally?
Yeah, I mean, I have been, and I haven't let go yet. I'm still here.
And if the court sees fit to grant him probation and puts your son in different programs to try and assist him, will you all be able to transport him or
Oh,
do
yeah.
whatever is necessary?
That's what I do for my kids, though.
And how many other children do you have?
I have 3.
And what are their ages?
5, 4, and 16 months.
We'll pass the witness, Judge. Hang on.
Hey, I have a couple of questions for you. Okay, so you stated that you live in Gonzales County, Texas, is that correct?
Like the outskirts of it.
Okay, and how long have you lived there?
Going on 6 years.
So what year did you live there?
2020.
2022 or?
The month I don't, but I know the year is 2020.
Oh, 20, okay. And so regarding your son, I mean, he's 19 now, but this is not the first time that he's
Right.
been in court, correct?
Understood.
So he's been involved with the juvenile system since 2017, you'd agree with me, right?
I don't know the year, but I do know that it's been a while.
Okay, and so before you lived in the outskirts of Gonzales, Texas, were you living here in San
Oh,
Antonio?
yeah.
And was he living with you during
Yes.
that time? And so I guess my question to you is, back in 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and 2021, and 2022 and 2023, all of the years that he was involved in the juvenile system.
Right.
He was living with you up until 20, is that correct?
Probably before that. I don't remember when, because I got in a major car accident and I had to get surgery for that head, and then everything came back.
Okay.
Right.
And so he was much younger than.
Right,
And he was still picking up charges under your supervision, is that
Right.
fair to say?
I wouldn't say I was the best to the fullest like I am now. I'm a lot more mature. I've grown up a lot more since I was as a young mom too. And at the same time, he was a lot immature himself, which he's still growing up, maturity wise, on that specific end. So, and then due to
Agree with you there,
and then
but
at the
I'm
same.
gonna ask you a question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And so during the time when he was involved in the juvenile system, he was also ingesting illegal substances. Were you aware of that?
No,
Okay, and he's living with you during this time?
he do some runaways, so I mean, I would have to do those things too,
Okay.
on that end to put reports.
And so I guess my question to you is what's gonna be different now than before when he was involved in the juvenile system and under your supervision, still committing crimes? But if I'm understanding you correctly, if you're saying that you're more mature now.
I'm a lot more mature. I have God on my side, that's one.
Okay.
I know I'll succeed with my son. That'll be number one. And then, two, I have matured. I have a husband that's he stands strong, and I stand right beside him. And as a whole, we succeed with our children. And we have moved our environment from a quiet place, peace. It's a whole different ballpark from living in this city over here to over there.
Okay. And you're aware that your son was on probation for the offense of evading arrest and detention with a vehicle, which is a felony offense, and that occurred in 2024. Are you aware of that?
I don't remember the year.
But you know that he's on felony probation right now. Do you know that?
I'm not too great with the law too much, but I know he's been in trouble most of the time.
Okay. So he's on felony probation, which means that he's gone before this court and entered a plea, and this court put in place different programs for him to abide by.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and he has not done that. Are you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because he went out and committed an aggravated robbery ×2. You're aware, right?
Now I know that there's been 2 aggravated robberies. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, and so my question to you is, do you think that it's fair, or do you think that it's justice for somebody who's already on felony probation that has shown this court that they have no intention of complying with its rules? Do you think that it's fair for the court to give us probation for a second?
I mean, that's what the judge, I mean, I can't give that answer because, I mean, really, because I'm not the judge to say so, but I can say I'm there for my son.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. You pass the witness.
Any further
No
questions?
further questions, Judge.
Thank you so much for
ma'am.
giving me some insight into your son.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless, did you want to say anything to the court, or do you want to just rely on your letter?
Just want to say that.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to say something to me, then I'll have to swear you in, and the state will get a chance to ask you questions. I'm sorry? All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Adrian Hernandez.
All right, and before he begins talking, did you want to confer with him a little bit about whether he wants to say something to the court or not?
Yeah, if I could, just
Yes.
briefly. Want to do that? Okay. Judge, he'd rather just rely on the letter that he gave the court.
All right. Then let me call this cause number because I see that there were not pleas entered, and it's the motion to revoke. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 007176. Mr. Hernandez, I'm going to show you what's entitled the motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Adrian Isaac Hernandez who was placed on community supervision in 2024 CR 007176 for the offense of evading arrest or detention with a vehicle on August 5th, 2024 for a term of 8 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Violation of condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Adrian Isaac Hernandez did then and there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the month of May of 2025 in violation of conditions.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
We'll waive it again.
Any objections to the waivers?
No objections.
Did you understand by pleading through the violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 6 years in the prison?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement with regards to that motion?
There's revocation and reduce the sentence to 6 years in prison.
All right. And defense, the court will, with regards to that, I'm assuming you want him continued.
Correct, Judge. We'd like it to run all concurrent with what his new offenses are.
All right. And then state, since you're opposed, I'll hear your argument, and then defense, I'll hear your argument for the cases that he's here to be sentenced on, as well as the motion to revoke. I think it'll flow smoother with that. All right, state.
Judge, so we are asking that you deny all of his applications and sentence him to 12 years in the prison and the aggravated robbery cases, and then 5 years in the prison on the collision case. Your Honor, I do appreciate in reviewing the PSI that this defendant did somewhat take responsibility for his actions. And he did enter into a plea, and his role was taken to account in the plea bargain. That's why he was given a top 12 post, because he took responsibility and because he's not the person that had the fire. And the evidence that was stipulated to, he's acting with 2 co-defendants, and they were engaging in burglary of vehicles and local businesses in San Antonio over on the far west side. And basically they were going and pulling door handles and seeing what they could get into. And an uninvolved innocent bystander tells him to, hey, knock it off. And his co-defendant points a gun in that person's face and tells him to get the fuck out of here while he is receiving property from the other co-defendant. Your Honor, he was already on felony probation, and this court has given him an opportunity to rehabilitate himself and be a productive member of society. And he has failed to do that. And if the court were to grant his applications, he would fail to do it again. Based on, and then also in the collision case, he's driving recklessly, crashes into somebody, causes him an injury, and then he doesn't turn himself in for any of this. SAP has to go and get him out of his house. So he can take responsibility in that regard, but in the PSI he did, which I appreciate, but we are asking you to deny his applications and send it to 12 years.
All right.
Judge, I think that the state has actually hit the nail on the head. He is extremely remorseful, and I think that the court can see that in the PSI, which is kind of unusual. You don't really see that level of remorse or taking responsibility for actions in my experience anyway, in these PSIs. I think this has been a tremendous wake-up call. I think that the family has rallied and is stepping up to take some responsibility to make sure that he can stay on the path. He has definitely gotten off the path. There were definitely people that were hurt as a result of his actions, and he is very sorry for that. I think that he has had a bad time in jail, and I think that this has shown him that he cannot go down this path, that he cannot be with these types of people, that he needs to live in his Smiley, Texas with a population of 500 and get his GED and go to classes and get a trade and go to work and stay on the straight and narrow. And I think he needs his dad, who appears to be a very strong father figure, to be in his life and to keep him on the straight and narrow and make him a productive citizen. And I know the court will have a number of programs and things to assist him with that. And I think that he is receptive to all of that. And so we are asking the court to grant his deferred adjudication and to run it concurrently and to keep him on probation in his evading case. And in the alternative, Judge, then we're asking for the lowest possible sentence that the court could deliver.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, I want you to know that I've heard all of the testimony. I've internalized everything that has been said. I just don't think that you're a good candidate for probation. So in cause number 2024 CR 007176, the court will revoke. The court is finding for true. The court will sentence you to 6 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Gustavo Perez. This is the run concurrent with 2025 CR 011020, 2025 CR 011311C, 2025 CR 011309A. I request to the therapeutic community, and there's to be no residing with minors. Did you review the document in that case entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
You do have a limited right to appeal in that cause number based upon the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on community supervision. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. And cause number 2025 CR 011309A. Court is going to deny your motion. Court will find you guilty. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. This is the run concurrent with 2024 CR 007176, 2025 CR 011020, 2025 CR 011309A, 2025 CR 011311C. Taking consideration 2025 CR 0133, 2025 CR 011310C and 2025 CC 009777. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. Restitution, if any, to Shamari Moore. There's to be no contact with Lincoln Gage Mertens, Oscar Carvajal Jr. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing under that cause number?
No, I don't believe so.
In that cause number, did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. And cause number 2025 CR 011311C. The court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 007176, 2025 CR 011020, 2025 CR 011309A, 2025 CR 011311C. Take in consideration 2025 CR 011310C and 2025 CC 00977. There's to be restitution, if any, to Paul Hike. Court will recommend the therapeutic community. And there's to be no contact with Lincoln Gage Mertens. And that cause number, is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon.
Just the other thing is that we asked for a no contact order with the other co-defendant, which is Oscar Carvajal.
All right, and no contact with Oscar Carvajal. And no residing in households with minors. No. And that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. And cause number 2025 CR 011020. Court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. This will run concurrent with 2024 CR 007176, 2025 CR 011020, 2025 CR 011309A, 2025 CR 011311C. Take in consideration 2025 CR 011310C, 2025 CC 009777. There's to be no contact with Lincoln Gage Mertens and Oscar Carvajal. There's to be restitution, if any, to Mia Alaman and Sandra Marin. And the court will recommend the therapeutic community, no residing in households with minors. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. I know it's a lot of time and you're very young. When you go to prison, do not become institutionalized. Go there, keep your head down, try to get your degree. I will tell you, I've had clients before, and the best certification you can get, it may have changed, is welding. Because with welding, they get paid a lot of money. It'll be something that you'll be able to support yourself on, okay? All right, good luck to you. All right, court is calling 2025 CR 012977 State versus Mary Elizabeth Sanchez. We have parties approach and announce for the record. And you are Mary Elizabeth Sanchez? You entered a plea bargain agreement with the state on December 4th. According to your plea, state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. State is silent on your applications. And this is to run concurrent with 2025 CR 012977. I don't have that pause number. Does she have a motion to revoke as well or no?
No, she's not on probation.
The other name is under cable, due, I believe,
Oh.
re-indicted it. There's two.
She was initially under cable due, and I think it was re-indicted under Sanchez, yes.
So,
And the 8828 was, should be dash 02.
no, the 2025 CR 012977, that's what y'all say it's running concurrently with. So is that a motion to revoke? What is that?
It's an outstanding.
All right, so is that a case she pled on? Why is that running concurrently?
Pleading both of them concurrently, Joe.
Ah, okay.
Same plea.
Oh, and so that's the one that is now the -02?
No, dash 02 is one, the other one is 012977, two different cases. One of them is 2021, one's 2025.
All right, so in your plea bargain agreement, it says that this is running concurrently with 2025 CR 012977.
Right.
So what case is
Plea
that?
bargain should be under 2021 CR 8828-02.
So it says something else in the plea bargain agreement.
Your Honor's sake.
Thank you. Let me see. Well, that's listed as a case when I look it up.
I think both cases were in the second stage. Oh, I'm fine. I'm thinking PSI.
Do y'all want to see the plea agreement? Yeah. I need this case number. I'm sorry?
Which one?
So what is it? What is that case related to? It's not the 2021 case.
2021 is the one that's going to run concurrent with this. Lead one is the 88-02.
No, but what I'm saying is we're off the record. In the plea bargain agreement, it has the 2025 case. So is that 25 case same as some other case?
The 2025 case is a drug case arising out of 7/31/2025, and that is to be concurrent with the DC 2021 CR 8828-02. The plea paperwork. So she has two drug cases.
Two active drug cases.
Oh, okay. The paperwork got switched. That's what's wrong. That's okay. Yeah, that goes there. All right, I'm going to recall the case. The court is calling 2025 CR 0129777 and 2021 CR 882802, State versus Mary Elizabeth Sanchez. Can I have parties announced?
Bud Ridenour for the defense.
And are you Ms. Sanchez? All right, and cause number 2025 CR 0129777. You entered a plea. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 8828-02. And in cause number 2021 CR 8828-02. According to your plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine, and this will run concurrently with 2025 CR 012977. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report and TAP evaluation?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
We do not have any witnesses. We have some documents to present to the court that we have previously shown to the state.
All right, you may proceed.
All right, Judge. We are asking for probation in this case. We prefer outpatient. She recognizes she needs some treatment. CAP agrees to that. They're recommending either SATF, I think, or outpatient. She's asking for the outpatient. She has no prior record. She has a history here of some drugs, not a heavy user, but some. I would note at one point in the PSI, it says that she, I think in the second case, she and her boyfriend were driving, making deliveries. She was delivering for Uber, I think, but not drug deliveries. Since she's been incarcerated, she understands she's got a problem. She and I have talked. She has a couple of problems. There's a drug issue there. She's had some problems making decisions. And frankly, she has an esteem problem over some bad decisions in the past. I can give you these one at a time and explain them. What I'd rather do is let you look at these. I would comment on one. There is a winged course there. She has not only taken that course, she is now a mentor in that course. Worked hard since she's been in the jail to figure out, number one, trying to take care of the drug issue, but also trying to work on her esteem and her ability to make decisions herself. To be a good night. She is certified in medical billing and coding. There we go. So she's employable. She wasn't doing that before. Again, I think that part of that was her esteem issue. I think if we get her straightened out, she can be a very productive member of society again. She has 3 children, they're all grown. So we'd ask that you give her a chance, probation, starting at least with outpatient treatment. Doesn't have a heavy drug use issue, but enough to lower her judgment.
I have a few questions. Any objections?
Objection.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right, make sure you speak up so I can hear and the court reporter can hear.
Step a little closer to this.
So, your boyfriend, did he know that you had these drugs? That's either yes or no. All right, so it appears that he may not be a good person in your life if he is aware that you had these drugs. And from what I'm reading, it wasn't a small amount of drugs. So, were you using at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much were you using?
I was already starting to break myself up, so honestly, I couldn't tell you a big amount.
And so your children was Child Protective Services ever involved in your life before?
Yeah, but not because of me, it was where I was residing at the time when they were little. They had a suitcase, so they opened it on me. I completed my parenting class and my therapy class they required, and I was finished with that. They signed off.
All right, and did you regain custody of your children?
I never lost custody. They resided with me, and I had a
Family-based service?
yeah.
All right, this is what I don't know if there's, I know you all are silent, no questions, okay. And your boyfriend that you were in this relationship with, who all lived in the household?
his parents.
Okay. And when's the last time you had full employment?
I work full-time or part-time? I would
Full-time,
full-time, I worked at a doctor's office,
doing what?
medical billing folks.
All right. I'm going to give you a choice. Sometimes I can give people choices, sometimes I can't. If I grant your application, there's going to be residential treatment. So the outpatient thing is out of the question. It's going to be residential. Or I can deny your application and I'll sentence you to 3 years in the prison. Which do you prefer? Okay. Do you need to discuss anything with your attorney? I'm sorry?
Yes.
All right, I'll have you discuss with her her options and then just let me know.
All right.
A critical moment for Mary Sanchez, facing prison, but offered one final path through treatment and accountability. Recovery or incarceration now depends on her choice. Like, share, and subscribe for more real courtroom decisions and powerful legal stories.
Before we get on the record, I told Brandon about these. I'm promoting them at this point. I was not worried about the cold. They're called Flygo.
Oh, what are Flygos?
They are not fashionable. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I got the matching set. So I got the pants and I got the top.
Mhm.
I wore those out in the 18-degree weather. I didn't feel a thing for 20 minutes.
Wow.
I didn't feel a thing until my feet got cold. Like those things, we wore those during the freeze. We didn't feel a thing. I could have turned off the entire heating system.
To get that for my brothers.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Again, not fashionable.
Well, I'm here for the warmth. I'm not here for the fashion.
I'm making this company famous because it worked.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm easily cold. I am easily cold. I'll wear 5 layers if I need to.
Mhm.
I almost came to court in these.
Okay, to get that. All right, so we're here on discovery issues.
There's the discovery issues, Judge. And I spoke to state. The prosecutor is on the case is having car issues. She's not here.
Mhm.
But the phone dump that was talked about last setting has not been produced to defense. That's something we're still waiting on.
All right, so is that the only thing?
Nope. We also have a motion to withdraw, Judge.
Okay. So could I see them? Well, before we do the phone records thing, let's take up the motion to withdraw. Do you have?
It was filed and accepted, Judge. It was done so before I got here, so I printed out a copy anyways.
All right. There's my stapler. Well, I will tell you in the back office, the electricity is out.
I heard.
So, do you mind if I keep this for the court and they can file stamp it?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Have you had a chance to, before we go on the record, have you had a chance to review the motion to withdraw?
I sent him a copy, Judge. I talked to his mother about it on Thursday of last week.
Could you talk to him about it?
I did talk to him about it as well, yes.
Okay, so you understand the motion to withdraw? All right, the court is calling 2025 CR 012576, State versus Jacob Leal. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Pertaining for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
John Pettis for defense.
And are you Mr. Leal? All right, your attorney has filed a motion to withdraw. And before I ask you a couple of questions, State, do you have any objections to the motion to withdraw? All right, State, you may be excused. So, Mr. Leal, I'll just have a couple of questions for you, and it's not about the substance of the case, it's just about this motion. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Leal, your attorney has filed a motion to withdraw. Have you had a chance to discuss the motion to withdraw with your attorney? And do you understand your attorney's reasons for wanting to withdraw? One of the reasons your attorney has in here is related to your contract with the attorney. I don't know what your contract is with him or not, because this is not civil, but that's one of the reasons why he wants to withdraw from your case. Do you have any objections to your attorney withdrawing?
No.
All right, then the court will grant the motion to withdraw. Counsel, you're excused. But counsel, when he's given a new attorney, whatever discovery you have, if you'll make sure that that attorney receives it.
Absolutely, Judge.
All right, you may be excused. Mr. Leal, are you going to be able to afford to hire an attorney, or would you like one appointed?
I'm gonna work on getting a court appointment. I mean, I'm working on getting an attorney, but right now, if I could like just, if we get a court appointment.
Okay.
And I was gonna ask also, man, like, I'm on house arrest. And
So here's the thing, that will need to be addressed with whoever your new attorney is going to be. So do you want one appointed, or do you want?
it's my uncle.
Okay, just have a seat. We'll make sure that you get an attorney, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so this was recalled, and we'll go on the record in just a moment. This was recalled for the defendant to pay restitution.
Yes, Judge.
And has that been done?
Yes, Judge. He was able to come up with $9,960, something like that.
I believe I could put him on the verify. Sorry, I'm a little groggy this morning, y'all. Finally got the flu.
Okay.
Sorry. My wife gave it some. What was the number you said, sir?
$9,960.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Thank God he was able to sell his trailer and some other things to come up with, because
It was actually the Friday prior to court, so by the whim.
So has he paid the restitution in full now, or is there any more?
no, there's still, I think, like 5,000. When we had come the last setting, I think it was 15,000.
$15,232.36.
His finances are strapped, and you had wanted, I don't want to speak for you, but
No.
my recollection was you had wanted some serious good faith,
Mhm.
and you had said 10,000.
So I'm sorry, what's the total you've paid?
It was the
$9,962,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, is it exactly 9,900?
Correct, yes.
I can pull it up. He
Yes,
texted me.
yes.
My apologies, Your Honor.
No
I almost
problem.
got, this is no excuse, but I would have had the full amount, but they're kind of evicting me from my house due to circumstances.
Mhm.
I'd rather get that situated.
We went to the second floor, to the.
Shoot, I don't have it. I thought I had to say.
No, I'm just trying to figure out the total amount that he's paid for today, just the
it's-
9,000.
It's 9,900. It's like I want to say, I don't.
$40 short of the 10,000.
It's like 9,960. I thought it was 9,962, but it might be 9,960.
So if it's $40 shy, then it's $9,960?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
I have all the receipts here if need be as well, Your
Oh,
Honor.
no, you'll need to provide that to probation. Let me see something.
And the good news is he's a few months shy of being promoted. And with that promotion, I think he's a journeyman. He'll be making more money to be able to pay more towards.
That is correct, Your Honor. I'm currently in the JATC program on Blanco Road for electrical. So once I'm finished with electrical systems and codology, they'll be giving me a $4 raise, Your Honor.
Okay, so probation, that leaves a balance of $5,363.36. Yes. That is going to be to Miles Buentello, Buentello. So with regards to this $5,363.36, how much you're going to be able to pay monthly towards that? Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what you can do.
I'm a very transparent man, Your Honor. I don't.
So, I mean, just tell me.
If
Or do you need to discuss an amount with your attorney?
I could please,
Sure.
right now it's a slow season with the union, so it's very
Alright.
difficult. Okay.
$250 a month, Judge,
Okay.
is a safe number.
All right, we're gonna go on the record. Court is calling 2023 CR 9393. State versus Darwin Gomez Jr. Can I have parties announced?
Brandon Critter, state.
Mark LaHood for defense.
And are you Mr. Gomez?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
All right, you entered into a plea bargain agreement. According to your plea, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is silent on your application and there's to be restitution to the complainant. State, any witnesses, which you wouldn't have because you're silent.
Judge.
Any witnesses, defense?
No, Judge, we had put on evidence for the plea or for the initial sentencing hearing from 3 months ago.
Mhm.
But we didn't bring any additional witness for today, Judge. I apologize.
No. I'm just asking. I remember everything about this case and I remember the instructions I gave. And one of them was the majority of this restitution needed to be paid if you wanted the court to have a possibility of granting your application.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. Let me go here. So 10 years deferred adjudication. Oh, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be restitution and no contact with the complainant. The restitution amount is $5,363.36. The court will note that the defendant has paid a majority of the restitution amount. And the remaining restitution is to be made in installments. Of $250 per month. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. 300 hours of community service restitution. Subtract 50 hours of community service restitution upon completion of the defensive driving course. And then another deduction of 50 hours for community service restitution upon completion of the anger management course. Do you have any children?
No, Your Honor, but I will be planning it now that this is.
No, Judge, she does not.
Okay. Field visits, one time per month for 6 months. Probation. Is there anything else that's required? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry, counsel. I don't have your, oh, here it is. Did you review the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And counsel, I need him to sign that.
Yes, Judge.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. In this court, communication is key if you want to be successful on probation. Do not disappear. Follow through on the contract that you've made with the court. This is a contract with the court. It's not a contract with your attorney. It's not a contract with the state. You've made promises to the court that you're going to pay that restitution off in the amount of $250 a month. You need to make sure you do that because the complainant wants their restitution. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you cannot drive with patience, without anger, then you should not be driving.
For sure.
You understand?
Absolutely.
All right, good luck to you.
You
God
won't
bless
sin
you,
again.
Your
Thank
Honor.
you so much.
God bless you too. Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well, Judge. May I excused?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we're back on the record in 2025 CR 012977 and 2021 CR 882802, State versus Mary Elizabeth Sanchez. So Ms. Sanchez, did you have an opportunity to confer with your attorney? All right, which do you prefer? Okay,
Just I've explained that she doesn't understand. She thought you were offering her straight incarceration or incarceration with treatment.
okay,
She wants probation.
okay.
The treatment, this one.
All right. State, you may be excused. And would you prefer a conviction or deferred?
Preferred.
All right, we're proceeding and cause number 2021, I'm sorry. 2025 CR 012977. This is the court's ruling. Court will sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 45 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Bill visits 1 time per month until further notice. In custody, she's to remain in custody for transfer to SATF. And probation, we can do a referral to felony drug court. If she's accepted in felony drug court, then she can go to felony drug court. But she's to remain in custody for that evaluation. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 8828-02, 300 hours of community service restitution. There'll be 1 hour deducted for every sober support meeting completed. There's to be no residing in households with minors. Probation, is there anything else with regards to that case? Is there anything else you need from the court in that cause number to help you be successful? Next, we're going to proceed in 2021 CR 8828-02. Court is going to sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. There's $1,000 fine that will be probated. Proof of employment within 45 days of release. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 012977. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. In custody for transfer to SATF. And also a referral to felony drug court in custody. There's to be no residing in households with minors. 200 hours of community service restitution, 1 hour deducted for every completion of sober support meeting. Probation, is there anything else? Regular reporting, I'm so sorry. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person, and regular random UAs. Is there anything else you need from the court? All right, in each of those cause numbers, did you review documents entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? In each of the cause numbers, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, and counsel, I'm just trying to find the other application. I'm sorry, the other trial court certification for you. There we are. All right, we can go off the record. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. If there's an issue, let your probation officer know about it. If you feel they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court and address it with me. Do you understand? Now, this is what I know. With drug addiction, you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to be successful. And one of the hardest things with drug addiction is being honest that you need help and there are issues. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you, okay? You're welcome. Good morning. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so I can hear and the court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record.
Stevens, McGaha.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Mr. McGaha, how are you related to Adrian Isaac Hernandez?
I'm his stepdad, but I've been in his life since he was around 2.
Okay. And just to cut to the chase, Mr. McGaha, you know that we are here because he has picked up some felony offenses and he has a motion to revoke his felony probation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the question before the court is, what is going to be different this time if the court were to give him probation and put him on deferred adjudication? What can you assure this court that's going to be different this time to keep him out of trouble?
Well, he's coming back home.
Okay.
And I run a very, very strong household, and he has completed probation when he was staying with us too. And when he did do that, he was living with us.
Okay. And so you're talking about some of the priors that he's had.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the court has a whole list of those, and a number of those were dismissed or rejected, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he complete a couple of deferred adjudication probations under your watch?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you willing to do whatever it takes to keep him on the straight and narrow, should the court grant him one more opportunity to try and behave on one of her probations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to tell the court that you know is going to be different this time to guarantee or for the court that he's going to be able to be successful?
I mean, he has been successful with me because I do see him, because that is my son. So he does listen to me a lot. And like I said before, when he was staying with us and with me, he did. He had a couple of little hiccups, but he was very, very successful when he was at home. So if he does come out, then he'll be coming home. Because I run a very, very tight ship, especially with all of my kids.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. McGaha?
I am a farmhand.
Okay. And would you be able to get Adrian some work?
Yes, ma'am, I would.
And would you be able to make sure that he makes all of his appointments and that he gets back on track educational?
Yes, ma'am. And then on top of that, I'm getting my wife her own vehicle upcoming soon. So she'll be having that, and then I'll be having my truck. So, and then I'll have my work truck too.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell the court?
My son, when he is home, he is very, very successful, especially when I am there. I am very, very stern with him. You can even ask him. He listens to me a lot more, because I guess I just have that dad figure for him, that father figure. And I really do want my son home. If he comes home, I guarantee he will more 90%, almost 100% that he will be successful.
We'll pass witness.
All right, state.
Yes, sir. So you've been in the defendant's life since he's 2 years old. It's about your testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so your wife is the individual that testified before you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she testified that you all lived here in San Antonio, Texas until year 2020. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so then both you and her moved to the outskirts of Gonzales, Texas.
Yes, ma'am. And then we purchased our own property.
Okay, and that's where you're living
Yes, ma'am.
current, correct? Okay, and so I guess my question is, why was the defendant not living with you at the time that these offenses?
When he wasn't living with us
Well,
He-
why didn't he go with you in 2020?
in a 2020 it was like a big old thing that just happened, and incident that happened at the house. So I had to move my family out, and then my son stayed with his grandma, if I'm not mistaken. And then he did stay with us a couple more times after that. And then when he was staying with us, he was in school. He had everything done, and everything was good. And then my son is he almost had it completed, and then when he turned 18, I do believe, that's when he fully moved to San Antonio.
Okay, so when he turned 18, then he moved out from you and his mom and returned back together.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's your testimony that, you know, he's been successful in the time of living with the contract. And you described the problems that he's had as hiccups. But you would agree with me that there's some pretty big hiccups, right?
I had some pretty big hiccups too.
Okay, that's not what I'm at. Do you think that it's a bit, would you describe it just as a hiccup, an aggravated robbery where he knows that his friends have guns and they're stealing property from people?
On
Is
that
that
end,
a
ma'am,
little
I
hiccup?
do not know. I do not know because I was not there.
Well, I'm asking you.
So,
Do you think,
on-
listen to my question, do you think that him acting along with his co-defendants, if he sees his co-defendant has a gun and they're pointing it at an innocent civilian and taking that civilian's property, do you think that is a big hiccup or a
I-
little hiccup?
I couldn't even see my son doing that in the first place.
Listen to the question.
That is the,
Is
I'm giving you
it
an answer,
the
ma'am.
facts that I've described to you, is that a big or little hiccup?
On that end, I do not know, ma'am.
Is it a big or little hiccup?
I was not with him.
The facts that I'm describing to you, if somebody pointed a
can't
gun at
say
your
that,
face
ma'am.
and took your property, would
I
that be a
cannot
big or
say
little
that.
hiccup?
I cannot say he did or did not because he was not with me.
Asked him as
So,
a judge
I
and
can't say
argumentative.
or a big
Excuse me.
hiccup.
So just listen to the question and answer the question, okay? All right, you can ask your question.
Facts that I've described to you, hypothetically,
Hypothetically.
if
Okay.
somebody acted along with another co-defendant and one co-defendant had a firearm and pointed it at an innocent civilian and the other person started taking that civilian's property, would you describe that as a big or little hiccup?
I would call that as a big hiccup, yes, ma'am.
We pass away.
We have nothing further.
All right, sir. Thank you for giving me some insight into your stepson. I appreciate you coming in to testify.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
A family ready to support him, but the court must weigh promises against a pattern of escalating crimes. Now, the decision comes down to risk, responsibility, and public safety.